Just us?
That's just us, yeah.
Mm.
You're alive.
Alive.
Opening the Board of Health on February 5th, 2025. Dr. Friedman, roll call. Susan Dory, present.
Lawrence Perry.
And Amy Vigant. Jillian is, I believe, going to be present online. I just heard that Mr. Tropiano could not come, which means right now there's 1 out of 3 of us for voting members. So we really need 2 of us to vote to move somebody up, I believe. So we can chat and have our meeting. If Jillian comes in, things will change. So I would go through some of I think we just won't be voting. And we'll save the voting for another day, unless Jillian comes on. Is that okay? Mr. McDonald? Or are we not supposed to meet at all?
Only if Jillian gets here. 'Cause we would need Jillian to open and close the meeting.
Okay, so we've actually not even opened.
Yes.
So we can then close if Jillian's not here. So she said she was gonna come, I think. Has anyone heard from
She
Jillian?
said she might.
Let me see if I can text her.
Isn't there some kind of rule of necessity?
Yes, there is that various in the question if it counts for voting somebody up. But we did this one other day when she had to leave.
Yeah.
And she left, and then I voted you or somebody up. They said I couldn't vote. We should have done it before she left and voted. It seems like and this is something to ask the town lawyer on, it seems like when we have 3 of us here, that we could have
At least a discussion.
a discussion, and we could have a meeting with moving one of the, so that's one of the reasons to have 5 of us. We've always said we could move one of the associates up when we don't have enough. Now, we never need to do that then if we're only allowed to vote when there are 2, because you don't need to move anybody up.
Right.
So this is a great online discussion, how we're gonna do it. What seems to make common sense to me, if all of us are here, and at least one of the voting members are here, you move one of the not voting up. But we would need I'd need somebody to confirm that. That's what I thought last time, the rule of necessity.
I'm not
But I
sure
was
on
voted
that,
out
yeah.
of it, so I stayed out of it. So there's no way to probably get Rick Bowen on the phone and ask him about that. So. And Jillian, usually when she comes, she's sometimes a few minutes late, but she's usually on time. And we were really just gonna go over regs today, animal regs and body art regs, and so if need be, but it seems like that's the whole reason to have associates and sorry, everyone.
That's okay.
I literally heard at 4:30 or something. And you have not heard from Jillian?
No. No email, nothing.
That was yesterday or the day before
Yeah.
that she had,
Mention that she was
Mention
the
it.
floor back.
yeah.
Is that rule of necessity, is that one of Robert's rules?
Yes, it's Robert's rule of
Robert's
necessity. We can look it up. It just, common sense tells me I should be able to vote one of you up. Or it should happen automatically, Patrick, even.
I'm gonna get you the answer right now.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, we are duly appointed.
Members,
so-
everyone's appointed, and we are
Question of
able
how
to move somebody up if we don't have enough members. But if you have 2 members, that's enough, because we're only 3 voting members. So you never need to move anybody up unless 2 of them are not here.
The other problem is they designed all those around 5-member boards with 7 total.
Right,
It's usually 5 voting members, 2 associates.
Right, so
And the quorum's usually 3, so you have better odds of having.
this is a good review of Robert's rules, yes. Maybe we get rid of Robert's rules.
Anyway.
Huh? Who is Robert? No, it's a very difficult thing to follow.
Guessing an attorney.
Too much time on the hands.
Can't we just look through it and?
Well, you can't even open the meeting
Oh,
though.
I'm sorry, okay.
That's
Little
what,
bubble's going. I'll give an answer for you in a second, I think.
yeah, okay. Seeing it now. It's because we're a little unusual. We only have 3 voting, but 5 people, and we've always voted somebody up if there's not enough.
This kind of makes it sound like it's only if a board needs to act on something, it's absolutely necessary that we need to act on something, then you can use it.
Right, but that's
But-
opening a meeting isn't acting on something except for opening the meeting.
Yeah. Is it absolutely necessary to have a meeting?
And I'm sorry to get everybody out. I just, I didn't hear from him until late. Who did he text? It's like,
You are good to proceed.
we are good to proceed.
Carry on.
Get that in writing?
I have it in mind.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, that's for the town attorney?
Close enough.
Okay, close enough, I will. So I would like to move, should I move them both up?
Just ask that same question.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I would like to move Larry up to a voting member. We need 2 people anyway to vote. And we'll find out about the 3rd in a second.
Okay.
And I second that, and if I need to vote on it, I, Amy Vigant, say yes. So we've opened the meeting.
Now
So-
we can both vote to move
D-
someone else up.
Correct, correct. So he's figuring that out. We can do that if we need to in a second. So the first is discussion and possible vote on animal regulations. And we do have, thank you very much for Robin for doing that, the old regs in front of us so that if we want to compare, we can. The new regs are our next page in. And my only comment in looking at this, and we've had numerous discussions even in the past at other board meetings about this, is dog and cat kennels. It just, when I read it, it means, mean any building, lot, structure, enclosure, premise on portion thereof where more than three dogs or cats, 3 months old or older, are kept or maintained for any purpose. So anyone with 4 dogs or 4 cats or more is called a kennel. So it's not equal to 3, so it's definitely more than 3. So I don't know if, there are not too many people with more than 3 dogs in their small home, but I'm sure it happens. And the same with cats. And so Patrick McDonald and I were talking about, I guess this is the state regs and whether there's a reason to change it. But then Patrick, you also mentioned that it's not our regs, it's also the regs for the town.
The state's animal regs that they have set with the animal inspectors and animal control officers, that's actually what sets the number.
And so the number also when you pay for your dog, the dog licenses,
Yes.
correct? They're the ones that,
And
It's
they
their
get all
regs,
the
really.
information and documents on rabies shots, and they do all that in the clerk's office.
Yeah. So
That's
it
not
really
our-
isn't in our control, really. So 3 are not a kennel, it's more than 3 from this. So that was my only thought initially, but it looks like we don't really have the power to change that and it would get messy because the different boards have different numbers.
Yeah, but I mean, that's about assessing licensing fees and all that. I don't know is it about a perspective of public health or animals' health, or are we worried about the neighbors as a nuisance? It depends on your perspective, really. Now, and it depends on the size of the domicile. Are they indoor animals, outdoor animals?
Right.
4 dogs in a one-bedroom apartment would be too much.
Somebody has an
But-
eight-bedroom house, and they have 2 families living there
Yeah.
and lots of animals,
Get a
that
2-acre
certainly.
lot with a big fenced-in area for all
Yeah.
your dogs to run.
Right.
It's
That's what I was
apples
thinking.
and oranges, I think.
Right, and that's what I was thinking. I find it a little bit more, I mean, there's certainly homes that you don't want that many animals in, but there are other homes that are perfectly fine to have 4 dogs or 4 cats in, and they're certainly not kennels. They're living in a home, so how, is there a different way to define a kennel?
Yeah, if we're looking at inside a home, I mean, you get into air quality and litter boxes and pet feces and all kinds of things. Or are you thinking about outdoor dogs barking all day while, somebody next door has to listen to. So I've been in a lot of houses with a lot of issues that stem from having animals that weren't properly maintained, or maybe too many animals and too many litter boxes and should be there, but it all depends on the people and the space, and some people would put their litter boxes in the basement, others would have them everywhere and all over the place, so I've condemned a few houses in the day based on
Interesting.
improper animal, and get the MSPCA involved too at some point.
I just got clarification. So I'm gonna go back to move the motion of, as a matter of necessity, I'll move up both Larry Perry and Susan Dory so we can hold a meeting. And we won't really be making any votes today, so it's fine. Thank you. So back to the animal, so.
Just looking at Stoughton's resident, we have 4 dogs and 8 cats as the cutoff. So I think
Wow.
every town's a little different on this. I mean, not everybody's adopted the state's guidance on this.
So is that for your permits there?
Yeah, that's what cuts off like a stable permit, or they're exempt if they don't have more than 4 dogs or more than 8 cats, or 8 chickens, or 10 domestic birds, or then we get into, it goes through the whole thing with lizards and snakes and salamanders and horses and.
Are they the permitting entity for kennels though?
No, sometimes it's the selectman's office, same as the barking dog rule.
Ours is the clerk, that's what I was saying, we can change the number, but it would just be for our purposes, because the clerk
Exactly.
is still gonna
Right,
be.
and that's,
In interest of public health and
Correct.
protection of.
but so it doesn't matter if we change it, if no one if this is still the regs for the town through the
Clerk's office,
for the
yeah.
clerk's office, it's silly for us to change it in my mind. So but I find it's a little strict, because it's not giving leeway for somebody has a mansion somewhere and has 2 or 3 home, with the son-in-law and the daughter living there and son, whatever, it just doesn't give any leeway, so.
Well, there's always the variance process. If somebody
Right.
wants, every site specific.
That's true,
If somebody has a condition, I'm sure we could grant a variance if.
In the other side, on the state side, for those actual animal regulations, they have different acreage exemptions for certain things. Like if you have 10 acres and you have a single horse, they exempt you from all kinds of stuff. It may very well be that way with
Oh.
the kennels, I'm not positive.
that would be, yeah,
We had a 5-acre minimum for farm animals in Lakeville. So it depends on what you wanna do, and
has there ever been an issue with this in town, that any of you know, you've been here the longest?
I'm gonna say no, but that's only because people with that many dogs and cats aren't very forward about it.
Right, right, but there's been no issue that all of
No.
a sudden you've heard and suddenly you find out, no.
yeah, sometimes it's don't ask, don't tell. I mean, unless you get a complaint, is there a problem? I found that I don't, when I was younger, I used to go looking for, I don't do that anymore because I have more problems finding me than I need to. And we have people to enforce the regs.
That's exactly what it is.
So otherwise, on the kennels and,
So I trimmed out all of the
it's much better.
sections. And then even the sections that remain, I trimmed out a lot of the stuff that was repetitive. So like every section had that same location of buildings paragraph in it, the animal storage, waste storage paragraph was in it, or these sections I should say. So just putting them at the top as broad statements for all animal issues, just trimmed them down immensely. Instead of repeating it in every section.
I thought it was much clearer.
Yeah, we even have something in our aquifer watershed protection area regs about manure and animal feces storage. I've been on farms before, in the middle of the horse pasture was the wellhead. And it was just piled horse manure all around it, so you never know what you're gonna run into. You can't control some of these things when people put up corrals.
So under the animal section, are there any that you have to deal with much during the year?
The rooster thing comes up a lot. But like I said previously, what we had the year before was pretty much unenforceable. And majority of the time, the animal control officer has the ability to go out at night and do some of that.
Right.
License.
And that's more of a new,
It's a nuisance, it's a noise
it's a
nuisance.
noise nuisance, that's not because of there's an, you know, just the noise. And you haven't had any issues with any of the avian, in the past, any avian flu or having to do anything, having to notify anyone or?
No, we've been pretty lucky so far. Since I've been here, we haven't had any run-ins with it, but it seems to be.
There are some people that still notify you if they have.
They do.
We actually just got a guidance document last week about avian flu for
Mhm,
animal
yes.
control officers. I don't know if anybody saw that.
What
I
did,
can forward it.
yes, I think, yes.
I
that
forwarded
was-
to my animal control officer. There was just guidance on how to, like, something about geese. There was some geese that,
You got it too, right, Patrick, you said?
Ours was do not touch. Call Fish and Wildlife or MDR, depending on which type of bird.
For every bird?
Depends on which type.
Right.
So if it's a domestic animal that you keep for livestock, it goes to Department of Agriculture. And then there's a set of criteria for if you find 5 or more.
I think that's, you said 5 or more.
5 or more.
Mhm.
I printed it out, I guess I didn't get it.
That's what you said.
Yeah, 5 or more birds in the same area, that all goes to
Species.
marine fisheries. And then if you find
Owl,
a
bald eagle.
bald eagle, falcon, or snow
Owl.
owl,
So, yeah.
they want those as well.
But if people find a duck on the beach, you don't need to call. Which this time of year with people out there shooting, you sometimes find them on beaches.
Happens.
Any other thoughts on the animal section?
I did-
I think it's much cleaner, I like it. I don't know if we need a vote to send it to the town lawyer or not, or he can look over it while and we can come back and vote and relook at it when,
We'll have to come back and vote.
we'll have to come back and vote anyway, so if he wants to look at it, we're trying to get him to look at all of our regs to be sure we're not making any mistakes.
We could send them right up there.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, that's great.
Let me see.
And then, next was discussion, on body art establishment practitioners piercing tattooing. There won't be a vote today, but, you had a comment on it, I believe, Patrick?
Yes, so I have, these came back from Attorney Bowen, and there was one liner. a single question, I've done some research into it. And it is about the fine schedule,
Page 15.
page 15, that's correct. And it's simply that for General Laws 111, Section 31, regulations promulgated by the board cannot exceed a $1,000 fine for each offense.
Who's up here now? I see we have one attendee. It's not.
Not positive.
We have Sandra, I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher her last name, Frias.
Okay, that's not Jillian.
So we have to reduce the fee
Correct.
for the third offense.
The third offense would have to come down to 1,000, and then we can leave the revocation. That'd be the easiest change.
Should we change the second to make it less than 1,000? If the third's 1,000, shouldn't it be less or no?
No, because the
The third
third
one comes
is
with revocation.
1,000 and possible revocation.
Oh, okay. So it's just the same fine, just a revocation, okay.
Any other comments on, I know we've gone over this quite a bit. Anyone have any other comments on the body art establishment and practitioners? Nope. Good. So we'll look at, we'll have that changed,
We'll have that change.
potential vote at it and look at it next time.
Sure can.
Health agents report.
Absolutely. Since our last meeting, we'll skip over the disease reporting as always, we'll catch that at the end. One conventional plan review, one alternative plan review, one upgrade perk test done. 2025 inspections are ongoing, Sam started those with our inspector from the coalition. 2024 beach water sampling is over, we have applied again for the 2025 internship program, so hopefully we can have interns this year to take samples again, which would be awesome. They are a fantastic help. Our public health nurse, Connie, is hard at work. We have quite an uptick in all the buzzwords, sicknesses, flu, COVID.
Tons of
RSV,
flu the
yeah.
last 2 weeks.
Yeah. We had RSV uptick as well as norovirus.
And the epidemiologist, I know she talked about coming to a meeting at some point.
She's been rather busy,
Mhm.
but we are gonna get her in here at some point.
Or just to meet even.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take the time for it.
Online or whatever.
Rental housing program's been ongoing. Robin's doing a fantastic job. It is very, very busy, but we appreciate everything she's doing. There was one item under new business that Mr. Tropiano wanted to talk about, but since he's not here, we can skip over. Unless anyone is
ADU regulations, what's ADU stand for?
accessory dwelling unit.
What's that?
Accessory dwelling unit. I will pass these around. These are
What is that?
I don't know.
going into effect. They pertain to accessory dwellings on properties that are non-conforming as far as zoning goes. They pertain, those particular state regs pertain to the zoning laws. But obviously they will come into effect with us as far as housing and Title V go. Basically allows people to add an accessory dwelling unit either on top of, attached to the side, or as a standalone building to their property to make,
Like an in-law apartment or something?
Or even a full rental.
or even a full
Accessory
garage.
dwelling, a self-contained housing unit inclusive of sleeping, cooking, and sanitary facilities on the same lot as a principal dwelling, subject to otherwise applicable dimensional and parking requirements. That, and then it has some more. How is it different from an in-law apartment?
It's not, that just makes it less, the new orders from the governor make it less restrictive to do that here. So there's a potential to see them popping up more frequently. I think Patrick was just concerned about the Title V implications and rental, and this is becoming a hot topic in town.
But if you're allowed to put it up and we have 2-bedroom restrictions because of Title V, then the question, or we'll send it back before we rediscuss about it, but how does that, how can you put in another ADU on it if we've already said you can't have more than two? So what happens with that?
Nothing should happen. It should stay
As a
Unless they're on town
two-bedroom?
sewer.
correct. If there's a
And
major
they're on
change-
town sewer,
Yep,
right?
Yep. I think that's
So-
been a,
Unless they have a huge tract of land and they have plenty of nitrogen loading.
that's been a question that's been buzzing around. I think he was just looking to speak about it publicly to help get the information out.
Okay, interesting. Um,
Yeah, DEP's actually giving a seminar on that in Taunton next month. They're gonna talk about Title V and ADUs, just to make it clear to all the agents.
Seems pretty clear.
Yeah,
You add, at a minimum, you're adding one bedroom. There's no way around it.
Right,
It should be straightforward.
But it's not, and people are,
There's a lot of questions. A lot of people think that these units are just gonna start popping up everywhere and every neighbor is gonna have a rental on their property now.
not getting exemptions from public health.
Correct. And the regulations that the governor put into effect clearly state Title V is a restrictor as far as ADUs go.
infectious disease report, I thought we've already spoken a little bit about the bird flu. I think
I
we
do
should,
have,
maybe every,
I do have our notice that is up on the town website.
oh, that's great, I think maybe we should,
Yeah.
for right now, since it's a hot topic, maybe you can bring a little,
That's
Learn on
that's in our news and announcements. We just took the state's press release and mirrored the important information out of it. Department of Natural Resources has something similar. It's up on their site as well.
great. I'm sure we'll be hearing more, there was a death, but it was in the south, some month ago or so, from a person, so. And we've already mentioned about the flu, it's been very hot, we had 5 cases one day in my office, so it's very hot right now.
We also have a big uptick of RSV and norovirus. I
Right,
think we're on the tail end of it.
we've seen, you know, we don't test for norovirus, but RSV, we've had a lot of, not so much COVID right now. Again, masking does help you if you're, don't wanna get sick. And then we'll skip over possible vote on the minute meetings from January 15th. Does anybody have any discussion on them? Anybody have anything else they wanna talk about? And the rest gets signed when Jillian's back. So, and we are allowed to urge, I would
Adjourn.
take a motion to.
I second the motion to adjourn.
No, you have to.
Someone has to make a motion.
Oh, I
Can
make
we
the
make the
motion to
motion,
adjourn.
please?
Okay, I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'm supposed to do a
Second,
I second it.
and roll call vote,
Motion to adjourn, yes, Lawrence.
Susan Dory, yes.
and Amy Began, yes. Get you practicing, thank you,
Thank
we're
you.
off. So this would be